After a quick edit and a quick re-render, I think this might be one of the most important videos I've ever done. So please, let me know what you think. And here we are again. As if YouTube didn't need another reason to fuck over its content creators, CNN willingly handed them a new one. So settle down, strap up, and get ready for the Adpocalypse 3.0. As usual, if you want to support the channel because YouTube is just fucking me completely, please consider donating to Patreon or PayPal down below. A CNN exclusive, YouTube ran ads from hundreds of brands on extremists' channels. This article includes an 11-minute long video, which we will get to after the article because that interview is mind-blowing, to say the least. Ads from over 300 companies and organizations, including tech giants, major retailers, newspapers, government agencies, ran on YouTube channels promoting white nationalist, Nazi, pedophilia, conspiracy theory, and North Korean propaganda, a CNN investigator has found. A CNN investigation has found. That means it's totally apolitical and not biased in any way, shape, or form, right? Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. CNN jumps right into the name and shame game, pointing fingers at companies: Adidas, Amazon, Cisco, Facebook, Hershey, Hilton, LinkedIn, Mozilla, Netflix, Nordstrom, Under Armour, and Google itself, and then pointing at the taxpayer money that goes to fund these things from things like the CDC, the DOT, and so on and so forth. CNN is playing the name game, trying to shame the people who have run ads on YouTube for whatever reason. Many of the companies that responded to CNN said they were unaware their ads had been placed on these channels and were investigating how they ended up there. Fuller responses from these companies are collected at the bottom of this article. So not only is CNN trying to publicly attract shame on these companies, funny, a site that struck my side channel down for bullying is now bullying big companies. Weird how that works, isn't it? Oh, you might be unaware of the story? Well, let me tell you. I was watching the town hall debate, the gun control town hall debate, and I was pulled off the air live with a community guideline strike saying that I was bullying CNN. Now here they are, bullying other companies because their ads run on videos like mine. Funny, that is. Rules for thee and not for me, as long as you're CNN. This video is probably strike bait as well. And if you think I'm lying that CNN probably had a hand in striking my video directly, wait till you read this next part. One of the companies, Under Armour, is pausing its advertising buy on the platform after CNN notified the company its ad appeared on a white nationalist YouTube channel called Wife with a Purpose. Wife with a Purpose, a channel with 10,300 subscribers, and they are calling her out by name. 10,300 subscribers, that's roughly 1/4 my channel size. And you don't think CNN might have had a hand in doing something to me if they're calling out people 1/4 my size? Let's take a look at the channel intro for this supposed white nationalist. This threat that is so big to YouTube and Google and CNN that they need to call her out by name. Let's take a look.
How in the heck did I get here? I was just a mom in the current year. Like most, I'd been pretty liberal in my 20s, but my desire to be a wife and homemaker led me to the conservative side of life. Now I'm a traditional wife and a mother of 6 children. My growing concern over the radical progressive movement and its push of feminism, homosexuality, transgenderism, pedophilia, as well as open borders and anti-white policies, got me speaking out. And speaking, and well, I guess some people like what I have to say.
So taking a stand against anti-white propaganda and going against the progressive left narrative, the insane progressive left narrative that whatever it is today, suddenly makes you a white nationalist in CNN eyes, and nobody sees a problem with this? That's insane. That's actually insane. Just keep that in mind for the rest of this video. CNN felt the need to name a Wife with a Purpose in order to pull Under Armour's ads from YouTube. That's how much conservatives like me and a Wife with a Purpose have frustrated YouTube and CNN. I just want to make this point as just as clear as I possibly can. CNN contacted Under Armour in order for Under Armour to pull its advertising from YouTube because their ads ran on a video from a wife with a purpose who has 10,000 subscribers. That's where we're at in this article already. This is not the first time YouTube has put major companies' ad up against controversial extremist content despite settings meant to protect advertisers. You realize this wouldn't be an issue if you weren't making it an issue, CNN. The incidents have raised questions whether YouTube can adequately safeguard ads and brands' integrity, whether its automated systems mean that advertisers will always be at risk of such ad placements. So there's really only 3 ways to handle something like this. You can either blacklist channels, which I know YouTube does. I'm one of the blacklisted channels. I get maybe a few dollars per 100,000 views. That's where I'm at right now. So the blacklisting doesn't work. And if I'm blacklisted, I guarantee you a wife with a purpose is blacklisted too, just because of the stigma that surrounds her. But apparently it wasn't enough, and CNN had to contact the advertiser, whichever advertiser it happened to be. 2, you ban all ads on YouTube. That'll never happen, because how will Jimmy Kimmel make money? And 3, you ban all conservative voices from YouTube. Which one of these action courses sound more likely to you? After past incidents, some companies temporarily paused ads on YouTube but then resume advertising later on. Really? I haven't noticed. I don't know where these ads are going. YouTube's bottom line hasn't been hit, said Nicole Parent, a senior analyst at eMarket who covers advertising and marketing technology. If brands want to make sure this stops, the only way for that to happen is for them to stop spending on YouTube until it's fixed. So exactly like I said ago, they won't stop spending on YouTube. That'll never happen. They want to support the channels, and they want to support YouTube's favorite creators who agree with them for whatever reason. They want conservatives gone from the platform. And CNN has already proved they will name the advertiser to the point where they pull the ads from YouTube just in case they might appear on a conservative channel. We've partnered with our advertisers to make significant changes to how we approach monetization on YouTube, with stricter policies, better controls, and greater transparency, a YouTube spokeswoman said in a statement. Greater transparency, really? You've never had good transparency with the people who make your platform good, like the content creators. We have to guess and choose what is or isn't against your guidelines. Terms of service and what you consider hate speech and bullying is so arbitrary and subjective. There's no standard for what you will strike down or remove without even so much as a warning. Ads don't run on channels like mine anymore. We rely solely on the ability to stream and super chats and Streamlabs. First warning, you take that ability away for 3 months. Greater transparency to your advertisers, fine. You might want to consider some form of transparency to the people who make your site trafficable and profitable, instead of taking everything away from a content creator at the first sign of anything without so much as a warning. Not to sound bloviating, but I am a perfect example of this. I've gone through 4 channels in less than 3 months because of these arbitrary standards. I don't know what I did, I just know I can't do it again. When we find that ads mistakenly ran against content that doesn't comply to our policies, we immediately remove those ads. We know that even when videos meet our advertiser-friendly guidelines, not all videos will be appropriate for all brands. We are committed to working with our advertisers, not their content creators, and getting this right. If YouTube thinks it can abandon its content creators, the people who make the site worth going to, for advertiser money, they'll be very, very shocked and appalled when people don't go to their site to watch whatever's on the trending tab that day. YouTube can't honestly believe that they can run an entire site off of people going to watch Jimmy Kimmel and CNN clips. That can't be the way their thought process is going. YouTube channels with 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months can apply to make money from ads. Monetized channels are given a portion of YouTube's ad revenue from the ads running on their videos. Videos can have ads even if the channels that posted them are not monetized. That's half true, because of copyright stuff, things like that. The channel that gets copyright hit that isn't monetized gets none of that money. So it's just another company making money off your hard work without you getting a cut of it, go figure. In some cases, not all. But this is also just blatantly not true. I've had 2 channels that have blown those requirements out of the water for months and have not been monetized and probably won't be monetized. So YouTube is actively picking and choosing what channels it monetizes and doesn't because of pressure like this. Advertisers entrust YouTube to decide and define what content is sensitive or extremist and not appropriate for their ads. Companies can set broad targets for ad based on demographics and user behavior. While they don't necessarily know where the commercials will end up, companies can blacklist certain channels and use a subjective, sensitive exclusion filter that's designed to stop ads from appearing on specific channels or content. So there you go. That just confirms what we already kind of figured, is that there are absolutely some channels that are blacklisted from getting ads at all, as if we didn't kind of already know that. It's just now on paper. But what's funny is that even though these certain channels are blacklisted, CNN still felt the need to contact Under Armour about a wife with a purpose receiving an ad. So blacklisting from ads clearly isn't good enough. YouTube once again has failed. YouTube continues to place ads on channels run by the online digital network InfoWars, which is notorious for promoting conspiracy theories despite the backlash it got from advertisers in the wake of CNN's reporting in March. So we know this isn't the first time CNN has used these slimy tactics in order to remove advertisers from someone they just don't like, putting the pressure on YouTube, hoping to get these channels banned. But let's continue. CNN has found that YouTube also put ads on Mozilla Firefox 20th Century Fox film on a Nazi YouTube channel, but they don't name that one. I wonder why. Probably because they're not a Nazi channel. Being at the term Nazi is so subjective and flippant nowadays, any one of us could be a Nazi YouTube channel. They could even be talking about Warski Show, or the Kumite, or my channel. They don't name this particular Nazi, which is fine, but we all know it probably wasn't an actual Nazi. Ads for Jewish and Zionist groups such as Jerusalem's Friends of Zion Museum and Jewish National Fund, a nonprofit organization which owns land and plants trees in Israel, ran on a thru titled video, David Duke and Harvey Weinstein exposing Jewish domination, the black-white IQ difference. With ads appearing on this video, CNN took it upon themselves to contact the Friends of Zion Museum and pressured them to pull ads from YouTube altogether. So that is now the second company that CNN has contacted and pressured them into pulling ads from YouTube because they appeared on videos that CNN subjectively did not like. In one video on the channel, former KKK Grand Wizard David Duke discussed what he said are racial and genetic differences between blacks and whites. YouTube placed a co-branded ad from Nissan and Disney that promoted the Nissan Leaf and the release of the film A Wrinkle in Time. Science is racist, guys, therefore not advertiser-friendly. No advertiser-friendly things on Science Nothing anymore. Whether it's coming from David Duke, Sam Harris, Charles Murray, doesn't matter. No ads on Science. But already they're delving into the race realism debate as a way to point out the Nazis. They're playing Name the Nazis the same way the Nazis play Name the Jew. Weird that is. Of course, CNN did its due diligence and contacted Nissan. We are shocked Nissan advertising has been served next to inappropriate and disturbing content by one of our partners. We employ safeguards to keep digital advertising from appearing next to offensive content and have agreements in place with our partners to strictly adhere to our brand safety guidelines. A Nissan spokesperson commenting on behalf of both Nissan and Disney told CNN, effective immediately, we are freezing all advertising on YouTube until we resolve the issue. And there's the third and fourth company. Disney, Nissan, Under Armour, and the Jewish fundraising company have all pulled ads from YouTube because CNN had pressured them to do so. I wonder what reasoning CNN could have for doing these kind of things, for calling these companies and getting them to pull their ads from YouTube because they're appearing on videos that the CNN investigator doesn't like. It's almost like there's a reason for this. That reason is to avoid something like 2016 happening over again. 2016 was on a lock for the left to take it and run. They could have won, but it was people like YouTube and YouTubers and content creators that pushed for more conservative things, that pushed against the mainstream media narrative that the left was the way to go, the openly biased for Hillary groups. That's why they're doing this. I swear to God. It's just my conjecture, though. Anyway, a genius of play, A campaign by the Toy Association promoting child play and development has also pulled ads from YouTube after CNN found that their ads for the company were placed on Amos Yee's YouTube channel, which he has used to promote pedophilia. So this tells us three things. Number one, that they are swimming around. CNN is absolutely swimming around in this corner of YouTube because we know A Wife with a Purpose, we know Rue, we know Amos Yee. So they're swimming around in this kind of corner of YouTube. Two, YouTube would rather pull the ads from Amos Yee than terminate a pro-pedophilia channel than pull ads from a conservative channel, which they would rather just terminate. So they're more willing to keep pro-pedophilia left-leaning people than they are for keeping conservatives, period. They'll pull the ads from the pedophilia, but they will terminate the conservative channels. And three, there has been no hiding the fact that Amos Yee is pro-pedophilia, but his channel was still monetized up until CNN contacted them. How fucking insane is that? Be careful now and strap in because CNN's about to get a little punch drunk and just start hitting everybody. Watch. Or, well, listen, whatever. Advertisements potentially funded by U.S. tax dollars also appeared on the channels promoting North Korea propaganda. I looked at the channel. It's got like 4,000 subs. Also ran on channels connected to InfoWars, Yee's channel, and far-right channels. So North Korea propaganda is the same thing as pedophilia, which is the same thing as InfoWars, which is the same thing as far-right channels like A Wife with a Purpose. That's how CNN views conservatives. They are the same thing as North Korea propaganda and pedophilia. Same level of disgust held to right-leaning people. And I'm looking this under the guise of anything right-wing is considered far-right in the eyes of a CNN anchor or CNN investigator. Please tell me if you think I'm wrong. Entities like the CDC, the DOT, Border Protection, Veteran Affairs, so on and so forth, have been running ads on these same YouTube channels according to this CNN investigation. When CNN reached out to try to get them to pull their ads from YouTube, which I'm sure they did, they said they would investigate it themselves, which means that they don't really care where their ads end up, but CNN doesn't like that. Meanwhile, ads from the Washington Post, the New York Times appear on far-right conspiracy channels like Black Pigeon Speaks, and some run by InfoWars, the companies investigating how their ads appeared on these videos. So, Black Pigeon Beaks is the same thing as Amos Yee, which is the same thing as InfoWars, which is the same thing as North Korea propaganda, in the eyes of CNN. First off, what's wrong with conspiracy theories? I like conspiracies. I like hearing people talk about aliens and Bigfoot and shit. When did conspiracy theories become a predominantly right-wing thing? Second off, why the fuck is Black Pigeon Speaks a conspiracy channel? Second off, when did Black Pigeon Speaks become a conspiracy channel? And furthermore, why is CNN calling out Black Pigeon Speaks by name and trying to get their advertisers taken away? Is CNN that worried about conservatives on YouTube? I think we can see the answer is yes. Here's a list of the extra companies that CNN tried to reach out to get ads pulled off of YouTube by them. Amazon, Adidas, Cisco, Hilton, Hershey, Jewish National Fund, LinkedIn, Mozilla, Netflix, Nordstrom. Put that on top of Under Armour, Disney, Nissan, and whatever else I mentioned. This is where we're at now. CNN is so bothered by conservatives on the internet that they are calling companies like Amazon to get them to pull their ads off of YouTube. This is where we're at. CNN is naming InfoWars, Black Pigeon Speaks, A Wife with a Purpose by name in order to shame these advertisers from putting their ads on their channels. CNN is comparing these same channels to things like Amos Yee, who promotes pedophilia. What does that tell you that these people look at conservatives like through the eyes of CNN? What does that make you think that they think we're like? Kinda gets the noggin jogging, doesn't it? But if you think it stops there because that's the end of the article, you're very, very wrong. They did an 11-minute interview with a bunch of alt-tech leaders to see if they would ban right-wing people from their platform. Let's take a look at that. Because getting these people banned from YouTube isn't enough in the eyes of CNN. They want these people banished from the internet. So they go to several alt-tech leaders in order to try to shame them as well. I'm going to show you one in particular interview that we'll focus on the most.
We built this incredible common space. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter were created blogging platforms where anybody could show up and speak.
Weird how that turned out, isn't it?
A virtual town square where freedom of expression would allow us to share our ideas, the good ones and the bad.
The idea, though, of the marketplace of ideas was that as people came to the square, they would hear the racist and they would hear the anti-racist.
I love that absolute fucking horseshit poisoning of the well. If you don't agree with us, you're just racist and your ideas are bad. It's moral superiority, moral outrage over nothing more than political disagreements, but that's how they have to frame it.
Social networks promise to democratize information, but in the last year, Russians have bought ads on Facebook to target voters.
And if anyone has seen these supposed Russian bot ads, you would see that they're like 20 likes, 30 likes, just total bullshit. It's a cheap cop-out as a way to point at conservatives and go, Russian bot.
Aiming to sway an election. An army of bots is spreading propaganda through Twitter.
I think that's funny because CNN totally didn't try to sway the election at all, did they? Nah, that would be silly.
And hate speech is going viral, turning offline. The virtual town square is getting overrun.
I assume she's defining hate speech as anything she doesn't agree with is now hate speech. I think that's what she's trying to do here. So the town square isn't being overrun by racists. It's being overrun by people who don't agree with you politically, so you have to take a moral standpoint against them.
The racists can attach their racist and abusive speech to every single tweet, every single post. You can create a fake account. So in the public square here, imagine if the racist could just basically like build an infinite number of robots to overwhelm noisily people on the other side of the line.
That statement in and of itself is so delusional. I don't know even how to approach it. They're building bots. No, these aren't bots. These are people who just disagree with you. They're overwhelming you because of you. You're losing because of you. You're not losing because of me. That's insane. Just imagine thinking that you were the only person who could ever be right about anything, and anyone who disagreed with you, even if a majority of people disagreed with you, and proved it by losing an election by the person you backed. The only way you could lose is by robots. That's where they're at.
So that's what we've allowed to happen on the internet.
As a result, these platforms are falling into an uncomfortable role as the gatekeepers of content. And it's not just Facebook and Google. Internet backbone companies you probably haven't even heard of hold that power too.
I think it is really risky if you have a group of essentially 10 tech CEOs that if you somehow offend all 10 of them, that you can effectively not be on the internet anymore.
And what's even more scary about it is all 10 of these 10 tech CEOs are hardcore lefties, I guarantee it. So you have to try not to offend a hardcore lefty in order to be on the internet.
You said I woke up in a bad mood and decided someone shouldn't be allowed on the internet. No one should have that power. What a strong statement.
We kicked them off at some level because they were jerks.
And by the way, the they are referring to is not the they we know, it's the Daily Stormer. So they kicked off the Daily Stormer because they were jerks, and the guy said he wanted to kick them off the internet. That's where we're at. I don't know how many more times I could say it. That's where we're at.
While there may be little sympathy for neo-Nazis, the decision was a trigger, and the requests started pouring in.
We terminated one customer, and only one customer. There are, since that time, have been calls for over 3,500 different Cloudflare customers to be terminated.
Which is more proof of you give us an inch, we'll try to take a mile. You can't give anything to these people without them wanting more right now, no matter what. We want more.
I worry that having made this one decision, that it's going to be harder for us to push back against those others.
You've opened yourself up to the progressive hate mob. You shouldn't have done that. Once you advocate for censoring one thing, they think you're opening for censoring everything. You did that to yourself, sir.
If the internet is a town square, you could call Twitter your megaphone, amplifying voices, shaping the conversation. It's what Ev Williams, who co-founded the company, always wanted.
You've always been someone who's believed that if we could speak freely, the world would be a better place. Has your view changed at all?
It's become more nuanced.
Go fucking figure. Conservatives win, now you're not so much a fan of free speech anymore. Weird how that works, huh? It gets my noggin jogging, it percolates my pistachio, it activates my almonds, it crushes my cashews, it beckons my Brazil nuts, it munches my macadamia. The rest of this interview is just stuff like this where they talk about how they used to be for free speech, now they're not, but now they're okay with this, that, the third. The video will be in the article, and I'll link the article if you want to watch the whole thing, but I want to get to one specific thing in this interview.
So we're here to talk to you about PewTube. Nice little play off of YouTube.
Anthony Mayfield is the founder of PewTube. It's his alternative to YouTube.
If you are looking at a platform and you're saying, you know, I don't like that this is owned by someone in the Valley who may have an ideologically driven agenda, I would totally implore people, look into starting your own alternative.
People would love an alternative to YouTube, but the reality of the situation is there isn't another YouTube. But watch how dishonest this reporting becomes in order for her to find her demand of racist content. The lengths she has to go to find it. Just, it's disgusting. All this does is prove that the demand for the MSM and for these people to point at and go Nazis doesn't meet the actual supply. The demand of Nazis doesn't meet the supply of Nazis. It just doesn't.
It's a reaction to YouTube taking down videos that it says doesn't meet its standards.
Again, the arbitrary and subjective nature of these standards are what people have a problem with. You get struck without warning, and you don't get told anything, and you're just done for 3 months. That's it. Besides the fact that there are organized false flag campaigns against certain people on here, besides the fact that they are flagged for no reason, nothing offensive about the content. That's what the issue is.
When they see this crackdown, even if it's not personally their content that's being censored, I think they're offended. So YouTube, either make a great platform that's for everybody or kick everybody who doesn't agree with you off, especially if you do the latter. I think you're going to give me a great business opportunity.
At some point after this video, I will probably be making a PewTube account, just in case.
Here's what that looks like.
This is a pretty horrific title for a video. Oh, wow.
Notice how they blur out the views and all that stuff.
So, like, racist images, or anti-Semitic images, which, for me as a Jew, that's
What? I don't know. I'm not saying nothing.
pretty offensive.
Just because it's offensive to you as a Jew doesn't mean it should be removed from the internet.
You did it. Rob a store, fuck a war, blame Whitey for your crimes, do the time, repeat. That's all you niggers do.
Oh my god. Okay, I kind of want to stop it.
This is the lengths they need to go to find their Nazi content. Really? You named A Wife with a Purpose, Alex Jones, Black Pigeon Speaks. You can't play any of their Nazi content? Oh, that's right, you can't. Because there isn't any. You can't play it because there isn't any Nazi content from them. But you had no problem calling Under Armour and Disney to get them to pull ads. Jesus.
A platform that enables and allows some of the most racist, sexist, anti-Semitic content to live. They want CNN to call them the scum of the internet. So, like, this is what I'm running into, like, trouble. Like, do we even show any of this?
Of course you're going to show it. You're absolutely going to show it. Who do you think you're kidding? You need to show it in order to push a narrative. I wouldn't be surprised if you uploaded those videos yourself and you saying they want you to call them the scum of the internet. They want you to leave them alone. They want you to leave advertisers alone. Let us do your thing, you do your thing. You don't have to come over here and mess with us. And the simple fact that I have to lump my content in with someone like David Duke's or Amos Yee's content just to say that you're painting a broad fucking statement is ridiculous.
Or do we just kind of scrap this? Because I don't actually think that some of these people deserve a platform.
Big surprise there. The CNN writer who has been doing all of this stuff thinks that people who she doesn't agree with should be platformed. Huh. Imagine my
Gab is probably the most popular right now. It gained notoriety by attracting far-right personalities who joined after they were kicked off of Twitter.
So if you haven't picked up on it yet, the whole point of this is for her to attack alt tech who host far-right people who have gotten kicked off from other social media platforms. That's all this is. Again, in order to keep this video short, I'll give you the quick rundown of what's happening next. They're interviewing the owner of the site Patreon, And they're grilling him about his users who earn an income on Patreon. They're grilling him on users who earn less than $100 in some cases because their names. It's disgusting, but he ends the interview with this. And I think this is the perfect way to end this video as well.
Despite it all, tech companies aren't exactly losing users. Not even their toughest critics.
I hate Facebook and Google for doing what they've done.
But you still use them.
How am I going to search for where to get here, right? I use the Google Maps API and
Right.
I use Uber, and we recognize that they're essential parts of conducting digital life right now. And this is why it's so infuriating. Google is an advertising company. It has no role in policing American discourse. It sells fucking ads on the internet, right? Facebook is a social media company that just like steals your data from you because you voluntarily give it up. They have no role of authority in American living. Why do we approve of Facebook's decisions on what is and isn't acceptable speech? Why would we approve of anyone deciding what is and isn't acceptable for us to read and to view and to examine? And who would we give that job to, even if we had to?
I don't know if we can win this fight to have our voices heard, but I know we shouldn't stop fighting. And a lot of it's to do with viewers like you, supporting the channel in any way, even if it's just a simple like, a subscribe, a donation. It doesn't matter. We can do this, I think, but we need your help in order to show that we're not these insane people. We're just spreading ideas. We're just putting our ideas out there to be scrutinized just like anybody else's. Just because we're right-wing doesn't mean we're morally inferior to anybody. Thank you for watching.